Yesterday morning, Anthropic released Claude 3.5 Sonnet, and apparently it's quite good. Few hours later, Google Cloud released support for that model in the model garden for Vertex AI. And today I'm going to show you how you can quick start with that and test the model yourself. Hi, I'm Tomek, and I hope you're gonna enjoy this video. Let's start by navigating to Cloud Console, and I'll go to Model Garden straight away. I will search for Claude 3.5 Sonnet, and to enable that, it's quite simple. All you have to do is click Enable, fill up short form, and go next, accept pricing as well, and terms and agreements. Let me do that as well, and agree with that. And after a couple of seconds, Claude 3 Sonnet should be successfully purchased and available. And just like that, we are ready to start. We can either utilize Colab Enterprise, or I will go for example notebook, link in the description, open that in regular Colab, make my own copy to my own drive, and with that I should be ready to get started. It is a really nice notebook created by Google. You can find the link to it in the description of this video. Nonetheless, let me execute some of the prerequisites, and let's also restart the runtime and authenticate to Google Cloud. So for that, I will use my account I'm using at the Google Cloud as well. Go with the authentication, and then select the location. Depend on the model we see. I think right now there are two locations, US East 5 and Europe West 1. Let's go with US East 5. Let me provide the project ID I enabled Claude 3.5 on, import the required libraries, and that's it. We are ready to send the first request, and as you can see, the first one is to send me a recipe for banana bread. And we've got the response. Now the response is a little bit hard to read for a regular human being, but we are going to work on that as well. As you can see, we've got a JSON with much more detail on the screen. So let me try to save this cal command to some variable raw response and modify that a little bit to JSON and take the advantage of JSON structure to only print the text response. So in this case, it's going to be response JSON of content 0 text. I've got a typo over here. Let's execute that. Oh, I've got another typo in content, so let me fix that as well. And we should see our banana bread recipe. As you can see, it seems the output is a little bit short. Let me increase the maximum tokens in the request and try again. And after a few seconds, we've got much larger request, still a little bit short. But you see where I'm going with that, right? So let me just go ahead and try to ask another question. So instead of sending me a recipe for banana bread, what is 1 + 1? Quite simple question, right? But to preview that it's working correctly. And we got the answer that 1 + 1 is 2. Well, nice. Alright, scrolling down the notebook, we can see there's also example how we can send an image. So let's preview the image we are going to send. It's an AND. Here's example how we can send it in the payload with base64 encoding. So let's do it just that. And without any changes to the code, we've got the response again. JSON, a bit hard to read for a normal human being, but I will do the same trick to make it a little bit easier to read. So let's modify that a little bit. And with that small modification, we can see the response in the screen in a second, that the image shows a close-up of view of an ant. Superb, nice. All right, so with those curl commands, we can obviously use that in any other programming language. But since I'm working with Python, let's utilize Anthropic Vertex SDK for Python. So let me install the necessary package. I don't have to restart my environment. I don't have to select the model. I don't have to select the region because I did it previously. All I have to do is to import required libraries, and I've got the first code to send the same question with Python code. So let's go with send me recipe for banana bread. And we've got a nice response. Again, in a little bit more complex reply that we might need. So in this case, let me modify message, and I will take advantage of the structure of message. So I will ask for content 0.text, which should give us only the response from the model. And within a second, we should see, yes, we've got a nice response with the banana bread recipe. Let me add a couple of additional code cells, because I'm going to take this code and copy it and try to make it to the function so I can work on my chatbot. So in this case, the functionality to send and receive message, I will add to the function called as Claude. I will also pass message, so we can actually change different messages, not asking banana bread all the time. Let me change the content to message, and I forgot about defining the function. So let's define the function. That seems okay. Let's test it. Try to ask Claude about something. So let's ask Claude about what is 2 plus 5. And we should see the response. Okay. If we want to have it nicely formatted, we should actually print it. So let me put that into print and execute that again. And we should see it nicely formatted. And there it is. Okay, so I think that should be good enough to try with our first version of the chat application. For that, let me create the infinite loop. I will use while true. I will ask user for the input. So in this case, query will be input from user. And just to make sure we can leave our infinite loop in some time, whenever there's an exit in the input, let's break from the infinite loop. And all we have to do is to pass the query to ask Claude function I defined a couple of seconds ago. So response is going to be ask Claude from query. And we should be ready. So let's ask the first question. What is 3 plus 3? And instead of getting answer, we got another question, because I never actually printed out the response. So let me stop the loop and add the print command as well. Let's try that again. What is 3 plus 3? And now we've got a nice answer from the model. Perfect. Let's ask another question, how big Bydgoszcz is. And apologies for my poor English here. We got the we've got the nice response as well. And let's try if the model remembers the history. So what was my previous question? And as you can see, we do not preserve history, and model also do not preserve history by default. So we've got, I apologize, but I don't know what was the previous question. So let's try to work on that. Let's try to add the functionality to also preserve the history of the conversation, because without this, well, the chatbot is not really a chatbot, isn't it? All right, so let me define a new function. I will call that append to history, and I will pass history, role, and content, and I will make sure that the history append has the same structure as the message dictionary, so it has two objects, role and content, and role might be either user or assistant, as an AI assistant in this case, and content is obviously the either query or the response from the model. Once we've got that, all I have to do in the ask Claude is to, instead of sending a list with single dictionary, I can just pass the whole conversation. And of course I have to define what the conversation is. So let me define an empty list conversation for now. And I think that block is good enough to continue. So let's execute that with Control Enter. And now in our while loop, first I have to, once the user give us query, I have to append that to the history, to a conversation list. So let's pass conversation. Let's pass who is sending the message, which is user in this case. And what's the content of the conversation is query. And once we've got the response from Claude, we also have to append that to history as well. In this case, it's going to be also to conversation, but the user will be assistant, and the content will be response, right? So what was returned by the AI. Okay, and I think that should be good enough. So let's try to execute that. My name is Tomek, and let's see if in the second query, AI will remember what my name is. So do you remember what was my name? And the response is, yes, I remember it's Tomek. Perfect, we've got the history as well. And with that, we've got a nice working prototype of a chatbot with Claude 3.5 Sonnet. Of course, it's not perfect, but that's just example to get you started. Okay, I think that's a good place to finish for today. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you know how to quick start yourself. And let me know in the comment section what do you think about the model itself. I think it's quite good, but I didn't play with that enough to have a solid opinion yet. Alright, see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.